Welcome to the Caregiving Podcast. I'm Inga.
And I'm Julie.
And long story short, we have Caregiving. We are two momtrepreneurs who have built an in-home care business from the ground up, guided every step of the way by God's care and fueled by agape love. Almost 14 years later, we felt called to create this podcast as a resource for families with caregiving needs. Whether you care for a family member or are looking for advice on professional caregiving, we want this to be a platform to support you.
Each week, we will come to you with encouraging stories of families who have found the right balance for their loved ones, tips for how to care for them and you, and much more. We hope you continue to join us each week as we share in this exciting new journey together.
Hello, Sunshines, and hello, Julie. How are you today?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Just
we're
good?
Well, not great. Did you see all that snow coming down?
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh, it's wintertime.
So we have to be good today. Alyssa has given us the opportunity to record without the headphones.
Oh, yeah.
If we pay attention and can talk into the mic.
I won't move.
You won't move. This will be the least animated you've ever seen Julie. She's fixated.
I can't move, Alyssa.
As a statue.
Get cranky with me. That's scary. Okay. I got
All right,
this.
we got this?
I got this.
All right. So we're going to be talking about dizziness and vertigo today.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on vertigo?
Well, it's not really been an issue with me until I started wearing these readers. and then I go to put them on and I'm fine as I'm doing this. But then when I look up, woo, and then if I try to walk with them, forget it.
Really?
Yeah, it's really goofy. Maybe because they're TJ Maxx specials.
That could be it. Well, I don't know, because I at one point in my life had like the Lens Crafter 3000, the most decked out glasses, and they were thin frame because I've got a big thick prescription, and I couldn't do it because they made me super dizzy.
Oh.
So I'm like, just give me the old bottle caps and let's call it a day.
Speaking of glasses, yours are lovely.
Oh, thank you.
And I actually complimented you on them, I think just yesterday, and you said, I've had them for a month.
Yes. At least 2 previous podcasts. No, I don't know if it's been that long, but it's been enough time that
I should have been aware.
But it's okay because you were genuinely delighted, and I liked that.
Well, I was also delighted by the new microwave.
Yes. Can I tell you that Kevin and I were like, I wonder how long it'll take before Julie recognizes that we have a new microwave.
A week?
We had to get it, yes. Almost. One day shy.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, we had to get it for Thanksgiving so that
It was here for Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Oh, my
It was here for Thanksgiving.
Obviously, I helped a lot with food preparation.
Which, speaking of Thanksgiving, I had a lot of Thanksgiving. I had Thanksgiving here at the office, then I had Thanksgiving at my house, then I had Friendsgiving, and then we had another Thanksgiving that was actually with ribeyes instead of turkey.
Oh my gosh.
And then last night we had the egg rolls that you make with the leftover Thanksgiving.
Oh.
Yeah.
The leftovers.
Yes, and then you take gravy as a dipping sauce, and then I also had it for breakfast. So
did you bring
I'm
any for
there's
lunch?
one in the fridge.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
anyway, how's your vertigo?
Actually, I'm starving, so it's really kicking in right now.
Too funny.
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of people actually do deal with vertigo quite a bit, and it's a terrible thing.
Yeah. I'm a head case.
Yeah.
I mean, we know this already, but even like cold water for me, if I get it in my ears, it will completely screw up my equilibrium.
Oh.
And yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm like, if I can't go swimming unless it's like a bathwater pool, that's my excuse.
So no lakes.
And then I am unable to wear, I'm a liability, really. I mean, no contacts for me. So if I go swimming and then I have to have my glasses on and then I can't get water in my, I just can't, that's why I can't have
I'll
fun
just
at
give
all.
you a plastic bag to put over your head and then go swimming.
Call it good.
Just
like the cast.
You can for
you
like
wrap
20
the cast.
seconds because then you can't breathe.
That's probably not a good joke, actually.
Oh, I think it's funny.
You should have seen me, though, in Hawaii with my prescription goggles.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I mean, they weren't a strong prescription, so it was slightly more clear, but not a lot.
Oh, my word.
But anyway. Okay, well, let's see our verse of the week.
Yes.
This week we actually have Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand."
Yep. Just basically kind of boiling it down to any stuff we've got going on, you know, be it physical or emotional or any of that. We've got to just know that God is with us.
Yes. And the do not be afraid is in the Bible 365 times.
Once
so
for
I'm
every
told,
day.
Once for every day of the year. Do not be afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have actually, my good news stories is not a good news story, but it's just a reading from this book. And it's really just an interesting thing about, you know, going forward, and don't be afraid, and just know that there is a plan.
Love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about you share your good news?
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to summarize mine real quick because it will be in the show notes, but it was so cute. There's a guy, speaking of Thanksgiving, what I love to do is put the Macy's parade on while I'm cooking and all of that. And it takes a lot of work to put on a parade, or to put in, I mean, through 4-H, did we do lots of different, different events, floats, yes. And you know, but we threw those together in a day, right? There's several people, not just with this parade, but with the Rose Parade and all that, that's their year-long job, is to get these floats together. And there's a guy named John Chaney, and they say that he's the unseen legend behind the Macy's Day Parade.
Okay.
He's done it for 47 parades.
Oh, wow.
And they're just saying that he's a legend. He's a master craftsman. And it's a year-round project for him. But the thing that's so cute about him, he's in his late 70s. But anyway, they said to him, so how do you feel? Like, this is your 47th parade. And he just goes, wowza, shimmer me timbers. It was so cute. They actually have a spot where they just call it his spot. And everybody just kind of just lets him do his thing and his magic, and he just makes things come alive.
Wow. It's crazy to watch that parade. And just, I mean, the amount of detail that goes into it, and planning, and like artistic thought on what to do, even the music that goes along with each one.
Oh my gosh.
It's wild.
Yeah. I actually told Mike when we were watching it this year, I said, I that's on a bucket list.
Really?
If I don't do that one, I'd like to do the Rose Parade.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'd want to do that one is because it's in California and it's probably warmer. But also that one, every float is made of only flowers.
Yeah.
Or any part of the flower. Yeah. And that blows my mind. It's just awesome.
Yeah, because like you were talking about the 4-H floats that we've done in the past, you always think they're really super intricate and you're putting a lot of effort into the design and the planning, and then you actually go to the parade and you're like, oh,
yeah,
guess we could have done better.
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah.
Anyway, okay, well, I am going to read, and this is from my book, Today is Going to be a Good Day. It says, today is going to be a good day because every hard thing that may present itself in our future is already in God's hands, and he already knows how he's going to help us deal with it. Don't waste the joy and beauty of today by concerning yourself over the unknowns of tomorrow. Trust God in the details and delight yourself in his presence in the moment, for we are not promised tomorrow. But if we are faithful to do his will, we will see his glorious harvest in his perfect time. Give your entire attention to what God is doing right now, and don't get worked up about what may or may not happen tomorrow. God will help you deal with whatever hard things come up when the time comes. And it says, how can you choose to delight yourself in God's presence right now? Each day brings many opportunities to become wrapped up in a worry and concern, yet doing so robs us of the joy that you offer. We cannot be worried and at peace at the same time. Thank you that you are intimately involved in the details of our life. Help us to trust you and to delight ourselves in your presence each and every day. And I think about this because, Julie, we have a very hard situation that we're working with. And we have really had to just give it to God and say, help us, guide us, do what you can for us, and take our worries away.
You know, I actually needed to do this yesterday because I needed that yesterday because I probably got a couple hours of sleep because of this situation. And basically I just laid there, and what I'm really realizing now, and I tried to be really good about this, but with you reading that, actually I'm realizing that the one thing I didn't do last night was ask for God to take it over from me.
Yeah.
And give him the worry.
Yeah.
And so that's why I didn't sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. So true.
I did it to myself because I just held on to it as a control thing.
Yep.
And
a fear, I think.
Oh,
it's just you're, and I understand that because, you know, in every situation in home care, we want to do the very best that we can for every patient that we're helping. And some of them are more difficult than others. And some of them, you don't know. You don't know what you get until you get it. And so basically, but for whatever reason, I have been at peace with this situation, scared, but at peace and not fearful, and knowing that it's going to be taken care of. And so I'm sorry that I wasn't there at 1 a.m. Yes. Well, I guess that would be today.
Hit me with
to
your
read
book.
You my, it's okay.
Read
God's got
page
it.
15.
Yep.
Yes. No, I needed that. Thank you very much.
Yes, you are so very welcome. Let's talk about our topic of the show.
Okay. So basically, as I was doing some research, the first thing that I came up with was dizziness. And I'm like, wait a minute, dizziness, vertigo, dizziness. But there is a difference.
Yeah.
In those. Yep. So that's what we're going to start off with, is talking about the differences of the two. And then we'll dive deeper into the two.
Sure.
Because they are different. And who knew?
Basically, I think it's a situation where we use those interchangeably, you know, dizziness and vertigo.
Right.
But they actually, there are two different sensations that each one causes.
Right.
And you didn't ask me if I have vertigo.
Do you have vertigo?
Yes. Maybe you did. I told you about the swimming pool.
Oh, yes.
Is liquid caused dizziness, vertigo?
We're going to find out.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So basically it can have, there's two different causes, and because of it, it's important that people understand and know how to tell the difference between the two.
Okay.
We're going to talk about how to distinguish between dizziness and vertigo, what can cause those sensations, and then also when it's appropriate to see a doctor.
Yeah, good.
So the key difference between dizziness and vertigo: dizziness generally describes a feeling of being off balance. When you're dizzy, moving can be difficult. You might stagger while you're walking, or even feel like you're going to fall, right?
Oh, that's terrible.
But many people with vertigo, they will report dizziness as a symptom. However, vertigo actually describes a specific type of sensation. Vertigo is when you feel as if your surroundings are moving. If you experience vertigo, you may feel a spinning, whirling, or tipping sensation. And like dizziness, vertigo also can impact balance. So it's not uncommon, and this is not fun, but it's not uncommon for someone with vertigo to also experience nausea and vomiting, which I've done that a lot. When I get really bad headaches, I will get that feeling like everything around me is moving, and then it's like a car sick feeling to me.
Oh, I hate that.
And then,
that's the worst.
it is the worst.
Ugh.
It is the worst.
Okay, so it can have different causes. So dizziness,
Disneyland.
Disneyland, no. You have for dizziness, you may experience it for a variety of reasons. Many times it happens due to environmental conditions or an underlying health condition. For example, heat exhaustion, low blood sugar, which is the hypoglycemia.
Okay.
Iron deficiency anemia, low blood pressure, the hypotension, anxiety, motion sickness, head injuries, taking certain types of medications, alcohol consumption, and carbon monoxide poisoning. So I'll tell you, the two that hit me the most was way back when I had a little bit of alcohol consumption. Definitely had dizziness.
Liquid induced.
Yes. That, and then the motion sickness. Some people are really bad. You are.
Yeah, I am, yes.
My mom is terrible.
Really?
And if my husband's driving, then yes, I get that. And I just get so mad about it. But I don't know that it's his fault. But since he's driving it is, of course, his fault.
I just always let you drive, and I take Dramamine. And so then we're all covered.
Oh my gosh. Remember when we went to that convention in Hawaii? And
oh God. Oh yes, I do.
And we went on this
fishing
expedition, because that's what you do when you go to Hawaii. And
side note, we didn't catch a dang fish.
So I was really going to live large. I took a little thing of rum and my little mixer, and I was just going to sit there and soak in the sun and just let everybody do their thing and watch. And I got 100 feet from the dang shore, and I'm like, whoa, whoa. Oh, and so in order not to puke, which that might have made the fishing better, because I went down into their hole or whatever that is, and I slept for the 4 hours. That was the most expensive nap I've ever taken.
Yes. With a few intermittent trips to the little tiny boat bathroom, which was, oh my gosh. I've never seen you that sick.
Oh my word. Yeah.
Because, you don't get sick.
No. And then actually then learning from that, I when we went up to Alaska, I would not go halibut fishing because I knew they were going to go out far. But then turns out that my daughter Bailey, Mike was laughing because he said she absolutely turned green.
Oh, yeah.
And she was miserable the whole time, and he was having a blast. But he kept throwing them back in the halibut because he kept thinking the next one was going to be bigger.
Oh,
and they're like, "No, we're done. I'm going to die." and it took a while for her to get her legs back after getting back on land. But so she's like me that way. But that really bums me out because I would really, really like to be out on the water. Going out on Flathead Lake isn't a problem, but I don't know if it's just the ocean or what it is. But yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I think, didn't we, I took Dramamine. I'm a professional at managing my car sickness because I often say that I make myself car sick driving from home to like Walmart to get groceries or something. So, I had mine on board in time to board the boat, but I think you took some, but I don't think it was probably in time. Yeah. And then we couldn't get it under control for you. I felt really bad for you.
But I did recoup, and we did go have a fabulous dinner later.
Yes.
So
was that the luau? No. When I mooned all of Hawaii, allegedly. Anywho, I digress.
Sidebar.
All right. So you talked about dizziness. Now, vertigo. Vertigo is most often caused by conditions that affect your vestibular system, which is located in your inner ear. Okay. So your vestibular system helps provide your brain with information about your movement, positioning, and where you are in space. Interesting side note. My grandma was having some issues with vertigo, and she did go to physical therapy. They adjusted some little something or other in her inner ear, and it fixed her right up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
How do they do that?
Heck if I know.
It's not like they can poke her ear and
do a
wingy dingy thing.
Maybe they get the one with the littlest pinky, and it just I really
or slapped her along the head. Boom.
Julie's School of Medicine. Just
Pop
one
in the
nice
head.
slap upside the head. Cures all that ails you, especially complaining. Okay, so potential causes. Oh, wait. So it says vertigo may be caused by conditions that impact your central nervous system, and this can include your brain and spinal cord. Potential causes, and I get the list of difficult words to pronounce.
Yes.
So, benign
proximal
position. Okay, benign proximal positional vertigo, Meniere's disease, vestibular neuritis, labyrinthitis, something, vestibular migraine, cerebral stroke, head injuries, and tumors that affect the central nervous system or inner ear, and then also certain types of medications.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
This article is going to be on the show notes, by the way, so anything that I mispronounced, you'll be able to go and look up. Because it's probably all of them.
Did we mention we're not doctors?
We are not. No. We are sharers of information.
Yes, there you go. And about lightheadedness.
Yes.
Now that's even different than the other two.
Yeah.
So you may be wondering about lightheadedness and how this sensation compares to dizziness and vertigo. So it's another term that's often used with those same words. But when you feel lightheaded, you may also feel woozy or faint. In fact, it can often happen before you pass out. It may occur when your brain isn't receiving enough oxygen.
Okay.
So some examples of the lightheadedness is a sudden drop in blood pressure when you stand up, which happens to seniors quite often, or anybody actually. Yeah. And that's just your body pressure trying to adjust from the sit or the lay, and you move too fast.
Right.
Ooh. Yep. Dehydration, which can be due to not getting enough fluids, being sick with vomiting or diarrhea, and taking diuretics. Low blood sugar, which is the hypoglycemia. Intense physical or emotional stress. Very fast breathing, which is that hyperventilation.
Oh, man. Have you ever hyperventilated?
No. Once I did.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Sammy deals with that a lot because of her calcium.
Oh, right.
She'll get that. Well, maybe it's not actually hyperventilating, but it's that sensation, like her calcium levels will drop, and then it's that like tingling and yucky, and I don't know. It's just weird. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah. Once again, the alcohol consumption, arrhythmia, structural problems with the heart, such as cardiomyopathy or heart valve disorders, heart attack, stroke, and severe bleeding. So there's a lot of things that can bring on that lightheadedness, then what probably then brings on the dizziness or the vertigo.
Yeah.
So I would think that would be the first step, don't you?
Could be.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And then basically some other symptoms that you might have if you're feeling lightheaded, that nausea, cold sweats, blurry vision. Yeah. Yeah. So what do you do if you're feeling dizzy or lightheaded? Well, first of all, stop doing whatever you're doing now. Lie down. Stop doing what you're doing and lie down until the feeling passes. If you can't lie down, sit and place your head between your knees. And then when the feelings of dizziness or lightheadedness go away, get up slowly and try to hold on to something when you're getting up.
Oh, yeah.
That fast thing it can be a problem. Like, and especially in the people that we care for, if there's any like impulsive behaviors, that like, I have to do this right now. And then they try to launch off the couch and then you've got a problem.
Yeah. Well, remember even when we had our Montana Royal and our little gal got so hot, and I'm sure it was a bit of dehydration because it was so hot that day. And she was out there showing her sheep. And she just plumb sat down right in the middle of the ring. We were able to get her out. And the one thing was to sit her down, cool her down, but she was having a heck of a trouble with that.
Yeah.
Move
with care. If you need to move around, do so carefully. It may be helpful to have something to grab onto for support in case you start to feel dizzy again. So basically, take care when you're having this lightheadedness or this dizziness, and be conscious of your movements.
Yeah.
So you don't want to end up on the floor with another problem. Avoid some activities. It's a good idea to avoid some activities until you feel better. This would be like driving a car, using tools or machinery, climbing on ladders, anything like that could be a potential safety hazard.
Right.
Hydrate. Always hydrate. Even if you're not dizzy, just hydrate.
Yes, always.
It's possible that your symptoms may have been caused by dehydration, and because of this, you want to drink slowly, some water as you recover. But also, can't it be a problem if you like just guzzle? So don't go overboard the other direction, because then you can
we're all walking just a fine line, aren't we?
It really is. It's like drink water, but not too much water, but not too fast, but not too slow. But yeah. And as long as you do it all in the proper order,
then you'll be fine.
The right amount and the right temperature, you'll be fine. Okay. There's also actually vertigo exercises. So, you can look up and try to, I'm sure on the internet, there's lots of different options and things that you can do, but exercise that thing, even if it's for your inner ear.
Yeah. Actually, when we get to the vertigo section, there are some specifics that we'll talk about.
Cool.
And I have a funny story about that. So I'll wait till then.
I can't wait.
Yeah, right.
I love funny stories.
Yeah. So to prevent dizziness, vertigo, or lightheadedness, there's going to be times you just can't prevent it.
Sure.
Stuff happens. And just like you were saying, we're walking that fine line and
boom. Yep.
It goes over. So anyway, stay hydrated.
Yep.
It's a big deal with this. So lots of fluids. If you're sick and you've had diarrhea or you've been vomiting, you're going to be depleted, and that's going to cause a problem. If you're in a super warm or hot environment and exercising or physically exerting yourself.
Yeah.
So those things I
can see the first two happening to me, probably not the last.
No, I tell you.
I will not be exerting myself. No, I'm just teasing.
Keep stress in check. And see, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Stress, it's bad.
Is that why I'm just a walking around dizzy nightmare? No.
Feelings of stress or anxiety can cause these symptoms. So look for ways to reduce the stress level. Deep breathing. And there are medications you can take. So I guess I would have never thought about stress. Rest up, lack of sleep can increase your risk for feeling that way. Avoid certain substances. Once again, caffeine. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one time I had one of my daughter's friends came with us to out to the track, and I think she drank like
a lot.
2 of the really big
monster
energies. And man, she all of a sudden her eyes popped out of her head and she was just a robot.
It's a
bad
feeling.
Went up and she was a mess.
Yeah.
And we had to do everything that we could to just settle her down, cool her down, because all of a sudden all that caffeine hit at once.
Yep.
And nobody had any idea she was slurping them down like that, because you're not supposed to do that. And some people are way more susceptible.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
Use assistive devices. So basically, if you often have spells of dizziness and vertigo, lightheadedness, might be a good idea to use a walking stick or have railings, have grab bars, anything that can help you to prevent that fall. Yep. And then steer clear of certain movements, right? If you frequently experience vertigo, try to avoid certain types of movements, such as moving your head quickly, bending down to pick things up, getting up from a sitting or laying down position too fast, and extending your neck, such as like reaching out for things on shelves and stuff like that.
What? Yeah. So if I go up like this,
You could. It could be a problem. I got to work on my picture game, my being photographed game. There's just so much chin always. And I think there are things you can do. Head down. No, not down. That's when the chin comes out. You probably hear me talk about this all the time. Maybe I need to be doing the neck stretches.
Your posture, you're supposed to act like you're a puppet, and your head is being held up by a string.
Oh, yep.
Evidently, that's what ballerinas do, not farm mamas. What do you want?
That's funny. All right. Manage your medications also. If you take medications that cause frequent feelings of dizziness, vertigo, or lightheadedness, you want to talk to your doctor. It might be possible to lower the dose or to switch to something different. Right. Again, it's always that, are you fixing one problem and causing another one?
Yes.
But good communication with your medical professional on that is
just you got to be watching for patterns.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So when do you seek care? Basically, when things are reoccurring and persistent.
I got to go back to this one, this managing the medications. I don't know if you recall the little lady that we took care of who was having frequent falls, and we were trying to figure out what was the cause of the frequent falls. But she was so slick about trying to like brush it off. And I remember one time a caregiver went in there and it was like a very odd time, and she was on the floor and she had actually like pulled some pots and pans out of the cupboards because she wanted to be able to tell the caregiver that she was down there on purpose to do this. She didn't want anybody to know that she had had another fall. Well, it turned out the point of the story is it was medications, but because we were tracking and monitoring and watching those patterns, we were able to figure out that that's what was causing her issue.
I remember that now that you say that.
Yeah. I thought that was a pretty good rationale or reason for why she was on the floor. Oh, I was just down here getting my pots and pans.
Isn't she a turkey? She just was so afraid that she was going to be put into somewhere besides her own home.
And that's that living with fear, know. But once we were able to figure out the cause of it, it was an easy fix and it didn't have any impact on her ability to be able to stay home.
Yeah.
So it was just it was a safety thing that could easily be corrected. And anyway.
Yes.
Okay. When do we seek care?
Yes. So when it keeps coming up, like that lady.
Yes.
Because we were finding her on the floor more and more and more. Yep. So that was a big problem. When it significantly affects your daily life, cannot be explained by an existing health condition. And it happens with other types of symptoms like your headache and that.
Yeah. Blurry vision, double vision, fainting. Yeah. So basically it says that in order to diagnose what's causing your symptoms, your doctor is first going to take a medical history, do a physical examination, and then depending on that medical history and symptoms, the doctor most likely will order some specific types of tests. They might include, but aren't necessarily limited to blood tests, balance tests, maybe imaging like CT or MRIs. And then the treatment plan is going to focus on addressing the underlying cause of the symptoms. And in many cases, treating the cause of dizziness, vertigo, or lightheadedness can help clear up the symptoms then.
Gotcha.
Which would make sense, right?
Yes. Yes. That's good.
What's the bottom line, Jules?
So basically the bottom line is that dizziness and vertigo are two similar feelings with an important difference. Because of this, it's important to avoid using them interchangeably, which I wouldn't have known.
Right.
Dizziness is a general feeling of being off balance. Vertigo is the feeling that you or your surroundings are moving or spinning.
Have you ever been sitting like in a car and your car's not moving, but the one you like catch a peripheral or whatever, somebody else is moving, and then all of a sudden you feel like you're moving?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
It is the worst.
Because you just go,
yeah. You're like, wait, I'm not moving. And then, that's the worst. You know what else I did one time that I, in retrospect was a terrible idea considering that I get car sick driving myself. Went to a restaurant that was actually on a floating dock.
Oh.
It's in Coeur d'Alene. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Mid-dinner, I had to take Dramamine because literally you're floating, so it's moving and wild.
Oh.
It would have been like the fishing boat for you probably.
Ooh. Susie, I can't go there.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Or unless you get Dramamine on board way ahead of time. I've got those patch thingies too, I think. I've never tried them, but I should. Anyway, okay, so let's get back. God, how come you took us so far off track? Could you please get back to the subject at hand?
I know, it's all me.
It never is.
Okay, so while dizziness can be caused by a variety of factors, vertigo is often used by conditions of the inner ear or the central nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
And so vertigo is obviously way more worrisome.
Yes.
Yeah, and the treatment of both dizziness and vertigo aims to address underlying conditions that are causing that situation.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes.
Vertigo isn't a disease or a condition on its own. It's the symptom of an underlying condition.
Okay.
Yep. So basically, you have to identify what is the underlying to get rid of the vertigo. So that makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. So basically, in my grandma's case, if it was an inner ear situation where something was not positioned right, physical therapy is able to adjust that, and then all of a sudden her vertigo goes away. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm thinking about that because I'm thinking about this. We've had a couple clients that have, you ask them what's wrong with them and they say vertigo. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, what was the underlying?
Yeah.
Because now I'm going to always think about that.
Me too, because I always thought that vertigo was just
vertigo,
right? But it's actually a symptom of something
else is going on. So we got to get on top of that.
Yep.
Huh.
Interesting.
Wow.
The things we learn on this podcast.
Good thing we listen to ourselves.
Sometimes it is. Okay.
So about vertigo, how long does it last? Mm-hmm. And so, boy, that's very, very, very variable. There's a lot of different things now I'm going to say the big words.
Yes.
They call it BPPV, benign paroxysmal positional vertigo. And it's one of the most common causes of vertigo. The average episode recurs, but only lasts for a minute or less. So that's probably, so positional means when you're moving.
Yep.
So it's benign. So it's just a situational thing.
Yeah.
Meniere's disease is a severe episode of vertigo caused by this disease can last for several hours to even days. Mm-hmm. Can you even imagine?
My mom.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So basically, and the condition can cause vertigo that often causes vomiting, nausea, hearing loss, as well as that ringing in the ear.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that you could lose your hearing.
Yeah.
But that would come back if you got rid of the vertigo?
I don't know if it's just while the episode is happening that happens, or if it's ongoing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's caused by inflammation or an infection in the inner ear that remains until the inflammation subsides. Mm-hmm. So if you have any signs of inner ear problems, it's important to talk to your doctor about treatment so that they can get the vertigo under control. They'll determine if there's any medications that are right for the condition.
Right on.
Bailey just had an earache, and she didn't talk about dizziness or any of that, but they don't give antibiotics like they used to because I think they're more worried about the super bugs.
Yeah, I think it's an overuse situation.
So there's that. But I also remember when she was a little girl, I have tough kids because they had a tough mama. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. But I remember one time I was in the kitchen and Bailey came running over, and I think she was 4 or 5. And as she was running from the carpet to the linoleum, she slipped and fell on her butt. Well, I hadn't known that she had an ear infection, and it was like her brains just came out of her ear.
Oh, no.
And I, at the time, was working at the ER. I was able to just pack her up and go in, and they were like, oh, yeah, wow, you mean this kid didn't tell you that she was hurting? And I was like, I had no idea.
Wow.
And basically, her eardrum popped. And all of the infection just came out.
Oh, my gosh.
But
Did
as
you freak
a young
out?
mother, I'm just like, okay. That's really disgusting. And oh my God, are you okay?
That's wild.
Yeah. So they had to clean it all up, but thankfully she didn't have any, hearing loss or anything from that.
Nothing long term.
But
that's wild.
Yeah.
Strokes and head injuries. Vertigo may be a permanent or semi-permanent state for some individuals. People who have had a stroke, head injury, or neck injury may experience long-term or chronic vertigo.
That's the worst.
That is the worst.
Yeah.
That is the worst.
So other conditions that and injuries that will just make the condition it's unique to you. How long is it going to last? Is it going to be a long situation? Is not, I have a friend that, I know that she's been pretty much on her back for 6 months now, because of the spinal fluid is causing some kind of irregularity. When she gets up, she just she couldn't drive. She couldn't, they just said, keep absolutely flat. And she was, she's feeling better now. Yeah. But she's still having a bunch of tests to find out what was the overall condition. Why did this happen? Well, she said, you're laying on your bed because you can't move. And she's a very active lady. Mm-hmm. She said, you're reading your book and you can only hold your hands up for so long before your arms get tired. And then and I'm sure all of us have done this, you put your phone above and then it falls and you about break your nose or give yourself a black eye.
That's never happened to me.
So she was just a wreck because being so active as she was, just for her to lay still for even 10 minutes, let alone almost 6 months. Yeah. But they're starting to get on top of it. And she just had an imbalance in her spinal central nervous system stuff. So it's a thing.
Yeah. Well, and they say basically it's going to depend on what the underlying issue is about how long, like probably how severely and
hers
how long
was pretty severe in my opinion. I just can't even imagine having to just sit down. I mean, who's got time for that?
No.
I would be so ticked off.
Oh, I would be mad. Yeah. I could not. Mm-mm. I mean, even when I'm super, super sick and the rule is, I guess, if you throw up here 4 times in a row, you get to go home.
Speaking of tough mamas.
But just having to stay in bed, it just makes me so mad because I'm like, I do not have time for this.
Oh, the worst. Yeah. The worst.
All right. So what to do if you're experiencing vertigo?
Yeah.
What do we do?
Figure it out. Get a diagnosis. Yeah. So you've got to go in and be checked because there's something going on. Yeah. So basically, it would be a really good idea to journal it, watch for patterns and see what activities or what is it that is
like our triggers
it. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Again, sit in safe places, and get off the road. Yeah. Don't be driving if you have this going on. Mm-hmm. You can try home remedies. Mm-hmm. There are some things that you can do there. Seek treatment. Mm-hmm. Don't be tough. Don't be like a little mini Bailey Brubaker. Yeah. Wait until your eardrum bursts.
Oh my gosh. There are some home remedies. And once again, this is for the minor stuff. This isn't for the big dog. And the majority of home remedies are designed to prevent or reduce the risk of the vertigo episode, but some can be used when the disorientation begins. Acupuncture. Now you can't do acupuncture, can you?
I am so weird. I've done acupuncture a couple times, tried it because I was like, okay, the first time was a bust. I'll try it one more time. Same thing. It just makes me so nauseous. Oh my word. The second one, it was so bad. I was like laying on the table and I've got all of these needles in my back and I'm like starting to get hotter. And I'm like, oh my God. So then I'm like yelling for the acupuncturist because I was like, I got to get to the bath. I'm going to lose it. So she had to run in there, quickly pull all the needles out. And then I just, anyway.
So I wanted to tell you a story about one of our caregivers. Yes. I called her one day and I was like, hi, how are you doing? And she goes, well, you want to know what I'm doing? And she has vertigo. And the doctor, or maybe it was a physical therapist, told her, when you're having an episode of vertigo, I want you to get in the middle of your bed and sit and then just throw yourself. And it's just like, it bounces. She does it every time she gets vertigo.
What?
Yeah. She just sits in the middle. Ooh, whistle. She just sits in the middle of her bed and just plops herself over.
It's just to one side or the other or back?
I don't know. But
I hadn't heard this story. I need to know it, though.
It's hilarious because she just said, and I was just like, what are you doing? She goes, yeah, I got vertigo, so I'm supposed to sit in my bed and I just slam myself back into my mattress and I feel better.
Every time? Well, I drink water upside down when I get the hiccups and it works for me every single time. So I'm going to try this vertigo thing. I'm on it.
Yeah.
I will report back the next time I have vertigo and I'm next to my bed so I can throw myself.
Yeah. Snap out of it. She just basically I don't know if it surprises her body or what.
That's wild.
Yeah, kind of like the hiccups. You look in the mirror and you're scared.
You're like, oh, yep, that quit.
No more. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we've talked about dizziness, lightheadedness, and vertigo, and I think
we
that's
have
and we have all of them
right now. During this whole episode, it's been a little bit everywhere.
Yes. So if you are lightheaded from this, go
You know
sit
what
down.
it was? We didn't have to wear our ears.
I love it.
We're just
How
all
do we do it, Lissa?
We're all
Nod?
discombobulated.
Oh, we got the thumbs up.
2 of them.
It makes a huge difference for me.
Yeah.
I love it. So
Yeah.
I will, hopefully we'll get to do this again with no headphones.
If we behave.
I feel way more free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Why don't you wind us down with a grandma saying?
Well, this one is basically worth an arm and a leg. What the heck does that mean? So this expression comes from the practice of painters charging more for a portrait when he had to paint the arms and legs of a subject.
Oh my gosh.
Grandma used it whenever she was referring to something of significant value, like the good china. Be careful with that. It's worth an arm and a leg. Yes, Grandma, we answered we know.
Oh, I did not know.
Isn't that
I mean, I know the
cute?
saying, but I never knew the origin.
Right?
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
I love that too.
Cool beans.
I thought it
Well,
was fun.
all right, listeners, if you haven't yet done so, please go and subscribe. You can do that on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. You can watch on YouTube. Join our Apaga Care and Share Facebook group and send us your uplifting stories.
Yes.
Send us your verses. Send us your grandma sayings. We would love to share, and Julie loves to have material and content to pick from.
We
So
love to use
Yes.
people's stuff.
yes, send those to thecaregivenpodcast@gmail.com. And I think that's it. So peace out, Girl Scouts.
Have a good day. Don't get dizzy.
No dizzy.
No dizzy.
Bye-bye.